So welcome. This is CloudCity. Drums, percussion, bells, and then insane MIDI file, fun manipulation, interactive stuff on the keyboard you can play with. Let's get some percussion into this. Let's get something else into this. You can just be building and building. That's what's so fun with this, is that all these patches are available to be loaded into your existing patch. It opens up such crazy worlds that any patch that you make with any of your own plugins can be incorporated into these like that. Just nuts. Hey, welcome. My name is John Skippy Limcool. Nice to see you. I'm going to be doing a combination show of CloudCity, as well as including tips of how to customize what we call up. Kind of a combo presentation and tutorial at the same time, I guess you would call it. How to do things in Unify. So I figured if we just call stuff up and do it, and you guys can follow along, pause the video, repeat the steps that I do if you want. You can always revert back to the beginning and then experiment. This is super fun, creative. This is what makes Unify unique from anything else on the market, in that you get to just interject your own whatever plugins, whatever patches you want into what is going on. This framework is built to support whatever you want to do. So we're going to start with something basic, and then we'll go from there and get a little bit more complex. We're starting with a bass patch to show. And by the way, this is sponsored by my website, pluginguru.com. If you need inspiring patches, please visit the site. We just released the DragonFly Reverbs for a free download. There's 4 reverbs that are just awesome. These have been part of Unify since 1.1. They're now available as plugins you can install and use in any DAW. Pluginguru.com is the place to go for presets, and I thank you for your business. Since it's the end of the year when this video is being made in 2020, there's all sorts of nice sales going on. There's a promotion actually including Unify that is something I only am doing very, 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 very rarely. So if you don't own Unify, go to pluginguru.com. Might be a sweet deal that makes you want to get Unify if you don't have it, because this is really fun. So to start with, we're going to start with the bass patch. And I want to show you the interface and how to interact and change this. So the first thing to do when you call up a patch is to study it to see what is doing what. And so I use the right mouse click button to click, and then I can right mouse button click the next layer, and it automatically turns off solo on the first layer and solos the second layer. So normally when you click solo with a normal mouse click, you're just adding things to solo. But if you right click, it turns off the other solo, so you can study real quick. This is a big bell metallic sound. And DX'd. Okay, so we could go to DX first, double click DX. You can go in here and you can study and see there's 6 boxes. They correlate to the 6 numbers down here. So you can study this and see who is modulating what. And number 1, since he's on the bottom row and no one else is there, he's actually the only one you're hearing. So if you turn down this level, the whole thing turns down in volume. Okay? Everybody else above him is changing the sound of number 1. And then you can look over here at the frequencies. And if you look for something above, like the 0.5 or the 1 would be low fundamental tones. If it's 3 or 9, like 5 and 6, then you can go to the chorus knobs. And here's your envelopes. Remember with these that if you slow this down faster, goes away. Turn up number 6. So you can get all sorts of weird bass sounds. Combine that with, and for this, since it's Guru Sampler, you can double click, go in here to the list. Let's call it a sub bass instead. That's quite different than what we started with. So it's very easy just to change a few parameters, and you can change the sounds considerably from. Okay, so opening up Guru Sampler, just hitting the plus button or clicking in this name will show you the list of all the sounds that come with CloudCity. And you could go, what if you do a voice? And the sample start will let you move later in the sample. Cool. Now, if you want to get your own plugins involved, you go down to the plugin little icon, and this is where you would scan your own plugins. I suggest scanning VST. Once they're in, then all you have to do is say new empty layer, and then go to this little bullet right here by Sine Wave Synth, go to all instruments. Here's all your plugins. So we could go to let's say HIVE. That's cool. Now you could save this just by hitting save. Let's go to the user library and give it a new name. We'll call it synth, since it's now a synth kind of sound. Big stack. Okay, and then go save as. That's the way to say I want to save something new. So save as, and it saves it into the user folder. So if you open the browser and go to user library, you will find synth big stack. There it is. And I could go back to CloudCity, back to the bass, right click, and say load this into Unify as a new Unify layer. And now I have both. It's a little loud with all those extra layers, so hold down Option, click on the volume slider. You can control the volume of everybody. That's both auxiliary buses and the instrument layers. Okay, so that is modifying a bass to now have something which also has HIVE and all sorts of stuff in it. Let's move on to another one. This is Prayer Bell Drama Pad. I love bells. Okay, hold down the right mouse button to click. There's a smooth pad. There's a dark synth sound with some energy in the attack. And then the bell. Okay? So now that we've heard and we know what those elements are, there's 3 green layers. That means there's 3 elements. Let's open up the Guru Sampler for the bell. Click in the list. These round robin patches are really fun because they're combining different sounds. We could go down to different bells. Here's a meditation bell. Go to chorus. A fun trick that I do quite often with bell patches is to take the bell, go over here, say duplicate, and duplicate a copy of it. Let's drag it back up here so it's next to the other one. And let's go to the first one. Instead of 19, let's just set it to normal. So we have a normal pitch and an octave and a fifth. And it kind of peters out. About here, I don't like it. So right click, question marks pop up for the lower. See how I've got right click both of them? There. And then hold down Control and Option and click on each of these and make them have a nice fade like this so it fades out. Now, it fades out on D, but it's gone too soon. So I'm going to hold down Control and Shift, and I can actually change the curvature. Let's make it like plus 0.5. And now we'll hear more of it farther down the keyboard, closer to D. Hear a little bit on E, F. Or you can say no the other way. Again, Control and Shift. Click in this area and drag down, and you're changing the curvature. You don't hear on E, you don't hear on F. Now it starts on G sharp, you hear a little. So the curvature is really cool because you can control where at and how smoothly that fade is. If you're working with a string orchestra and the violins in a certain range don't sound right at the very bottom, you can shape them exactly how you want them. Now, the second sound, which is now the third sound, instead of Guru Sampler, let's go up here and let's call up, why not? Let's call up JX10, which is a cool analog synth. You can click here to choose all the patches. That's kind of a cool energy, but I want to be a little darker, so go to the VCF frequency. And then a little bit longer release. So let's go to the, here's the filter release. Here it's choppy like this, but we want the filter to not clamp on the sound. Just let it ring out. Now let's turn off solo. Maybe go up here to your octave, your oscillator tune. See how it's set to plus 12? Maybe we want to go over here. Then go to the filter. Now it's more brassy and maybe give it a little bit more envelope. And then go to the envelope and give it a little bit of attack. And maybe I need chorus on this to make it even sound like more voices of polyphony. So go over here to the insert effects, add from Unify standard modulation silky chorus. And then control the mix, feedback, set it how you want it to be. And maybe this sound gets a little bit too big down here. So again, right click on the lower keys. Let's have it stop at G. And because it's velocity sensitive, I can go Control, Option, and also give it a bit of a fade. So just have pure bass down here. Even a bright synth up here. But down here, so flexibility is easy to attain to do exactly what you want. Okay, so, isn't that cool? Save it, move on. But we're not gonna save it. We're gonna go over here to BPM Bass now. This is Tek Octave FM. And I want to show you, if you click the little transport, when you're in your DAW, I'm inside of Logic right now. And so it's set at 90 beats per minute. Well, the original patch, you'll see the original reference tempo that it was saved at, 120. So if I double click and set this to 120, now it's set to the patch that the programmer, in this case myself, programmed this patch and saved it. Sounds better. That's what it's supposed to sound like. When you're in standalone and playing Unify from the standalone application, we have the ability to save with BPM data, and that means tempo. So each patch will call up at the tempo it needs to be. When you call up Unify in your DAW, you can't do that anymore. It's following the tempo of your sequencer. So if your sequencer is at 180 beats per minute, then whatever you call up, even if it's a slow hip hop thing, it's going to play at 180 beats per minute. So go over here to the transport, and right here is a little reference for the tempo, so you can see what it was saved at to set your sequencer to the same tempo to see if that's where you want it, or you can modify it, of course. But if you want to hear it how it was designed and programmed, that's how it was designed and programmed. Now this is using DX, right click. And as you can see, this makes it so you don't hear the auxiliary bus, so I can hear just what's coming from this channel. And if I go over here and I right click on this, I hear the insert effect by itself, which is pretty cool. I'm going to turn this up a little bit. Now I have knobs programmed for kick, right? I got bass filtering. So if you have extra hands and a controller, you can play these things all in real time. Right? So you can do all sorts of remixing things if you want. This is pretty cool. When I bring up the drum reverb, but I want that to do more than just bring up the mix of the reverb. So if you click on this little bullet by the drum reverb knob, we're going to talk for a minute about knobs, because it is a deep, deep well that we have created here for you to play with. Virtually every parameter in the interface of Unify and every plugin that's loaded in Unify, you have access to them right here inside of this for the knob assignments. You can assign unlimited list of everything changing radically from one knob. It's really, really powerful. And we have right now wet dry mix for instrument 2, which is the kick. We see the name here. And instrument 3, which is the hi-hats. I want to keep that the same, but I want to add another parameter. I'm going to go to instrument, kick, to the effects, to the reverb, and I'm going to go to the decay. And when I choose decay, you'll see that it shows currently what the current value is right here. And then if I play this, if I click here, I bring this up so I hear it. Short reverb, long reverb. Okay, so let's do that also to instrument 2 or instrument 3, which is the hi-hats. So we go to 3, to the effects, M-verb, decay. Let's also have it do it like that, where it makes it really long. So cool. And maybe we want to do something cool like add distortion or something. The possibilities are endless. So let's go over here to the insert effects. Let's add something like distortion noise box. And we can go over here and let's say we want power curve. You got to make it like, you got to listen to it be really bad for a minute. I'm going to bring down the mix a bit. And I'm going to have this be a filter. So it'll do that kind of cool thing. It's like, ooh, right? So let's go back to this reverb knob, link parameters. Let's add from instrument 3, the hi-hats, effects, noise box. We first need to do the wet dry mix, totally dry. And I'm going to have the curve be like, just bringing up just a little bit for a while, and at the end kind of going crazy to get up to here. Now we don't hear it yet because that filter is low. So at the same time, we have to go over here to instrument 3, effect, MIDI box. This is the post filter. So go post filter frequency and go like that. So now you got all this cool stuff going on. And if you want the mix to stay longer on those hi-hats so you hear it more, so go to instrument of 3, wet dry mix for the reverb, which is right here. And bring the curve up so it doesn't go away. Like you hear quite a bit of it even down here in the low values. If you make this the other way like this, you don't hear it in the low values. See how it's moving very slow right in here? We're at the halfway point, and now it starts to show up. So you can set the curve. In fact, you could actually make it really crazy and have multiple curves. Like it's gonna go up, come down, and then go up again, so. So it's crazy. Unlimited breakpoints. So you could have it go up, go down, go up, go down, do crazy town stuff. I mean, it's really fun. So that's the power of the knobs. I just want to, this patch is for showing you the knob control. And it's now kind of random and unexpected because there's so many breakpoint assignments in the knob. And at the same time, go to DX. Let's say we want to tweak this at the same time that we're moving that knob. You can do it. So let's find what would do a cool thing. So let's. That'd be cool. So that means we need to change level and the chorus of operator 2. So go over here to this drum reverb knob, link parameters, go to instrument 1 and DX. And here's all of the parameters of DX, operator 2. So you look down the list and it shows up back here at the top because it doubles over and you find operator 2 chorus. And let's just have it go up a little bit, not too crazy. And then also we want to go over here, operator DX.